Hey Daniel, welcome back.
Hey, Yar, good to be back.
Nice. So today we'll be talking about Webflow's releases, these old releases that were introduced that we don't know what happened to yet. So we'll be talking about the e-commerce, the users, the logic, all these releases that happened before. We want to see what happened there and why did they not continue up until now. And yeah, let's talk about it. What do you think, Daniel?
Yeah, well, we just had the latest Webflow conference, and the thing is that
Yeah.
in these Webflow conferences, there's always so much hype around these new features. Like every year, it's just like you said the last time, I think, it's just like an Apple keynote, you know? They do these
Yeah.
amazing visuals, these amazing case studies, these amazing interviews, like they're bringing on these like top tier agencies or these clients. Like it's really great, like it's really spectacular. But then like a lot can happen, like a lot of the times there are just like standard features that will be announced that are available on other platforms that, let's say, like WordPress has or whatever, and that people have been wishing for years, right? So one of the ones that I think is has been announced actually 2 years ago was users memberships.
Yeah.
So crazy. And they discontinued it this January. So it didn't even take 1.5 years, and it got discontinued, unfortunately. So
Yeah.
what's your experience with memberships?
I'm used to MemberStack, to be honest. I used to use
Yeah.
MemberStack from before they announced users. And once they announced users, I tried to use it one time. It did not work well. It was super complicated. And it was like, to be honest, was a bit buggy as well. MemberStack was way better, so I just opted for MemberStack. I never used users. I think this was an experience that a lot of people have. That's why they discontinued it. But
Yeah.
I mean, they released it. We were hoping. I was very happy. A lot of people were very happy. I remember as well when they announced it. We're all like, "Hey, this is gonna be a great feature." But the work on it, I guess, was not done.
Yeah, like I actually made the mistake to even take on a project that needed members, and I had to face the problems mid project, like, and then I had to,
No.
it was very uncomfortable for me to then ask the client like, hey, it looks like this feature is not working, and I've been back and forth with the Webflow support for months, and nothing happened. It didn't get better. I duplicated the project. I rebuilt the entire membership flow from the start. It didn't work, and then it was very uncomfortable for me to ask the client to, hey, well, actually you should pay like a $30 member stack subscription because looks like this
Yeah.
is broken. And like this is a feature that like Webflow, sorry, WordPress has out of the box, right? So
True.
like this should be like a standard thing. Like it doesn't have to be a paid membership. We don't have to have a subscription thing. Like for that you have MemberStack, but at least like get some users. And like it's very useful to have your own users, and create a platform where people can turn to, and you can manage your users internally from Webflow. It was really, really great, and I'm very disappointed that it didn't turn out the way they promised it. And it was so hyped, so hyped. So yeah,
It was, yeah.
we'll see. Yeah,
It was so hyped, I remember, yeah. It was a great feature. I'm not sure again, like something must have happened. They were like, no more users, and they just dropped it. But but yeah, like users came in as well. I think Logic came in at the same time, if you
yeah.
remember that one. Yeah.
I think, yeah,
Also discontinued.
yeah. And Logic came even before, I think 1 year before that. Maybe
Oh,
they
even.
even came in like, yeah, I think, yeah, 2022. It got released in 2022, and then I even remember like I was working on another project, and my project manager said that, hey, like let's use Webflow logic for this, and I've actually used it, and it worked on the form. It was great. Like
Yeah.
I don't really know what happened there. Like did you work with it more intensively or extensively?
I worked with it. I used it a few times. It worked again, not for complex features, especially like we used to use this HTTP request, and it
Mm-hmm.
worked fine. Again, it did bug sometimes when things got really complex, but for simpler use cases, it was working fine. You know, instead of using Zapier or things like that, you know,
Yeah.
like, again, for simple uses, instead of going to Zapier and paying a monthly subscription to Zapier, you could use Logic and just automate something within Webflow. Uh,
Yeah.
I don't
That
know
was
why they
even
discontinued that either. It was like that one was a shock. And when they said we're gonna discontinue it, I'm like, what? It was a shock.
yeah. That's exactly what you said. Like was even in their slogan, like I think something like "Goodbye Zapier" or "Zapier no more" or something like that. And I was like, "What the hell is this possible? How can you replace
Yeah,
Zapier from Webflow?" And it was amazing, right? And granted, like there were like other attempts to like do like skip Zapier, and it wasn't coming from Webflow; it was coming from FinSuite when they introduced Nobu, the native or like the basically a direct connection from Airtable to Webflow. I don't know if you remember
yeah,
that, and I'm not sure if it still works. I never really tried it, but yeah, they people always try to somehow get around Zapier. So when Webflow announced that no more Zapier, like I couldn't believe it. And so yeah, again, and the cancellation just got announced, like I think in July or something. So
yeah. It
yeah,
was a shock. I was surprised, but again, something must have happened there, especially in the Webflow team. Uh, and the focus on AI, I think the focus on AI was priority to those features,
yeah,
because those features, again, like you still have, I know you would still pay another tool, but you
yeah,
still have that tool. Like Zapier is still there, member stack is still there. So if
yeah.
they discontinued that feature, users can still make memberships, can still do some logic or automations.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Mm-hmm.
think this is how they approached it. Again, would have been cooler, would have been way nicer if they kept it, just improved
Mm-hmm.
it a little bit, like not much, just a little bit. It was okay, but not discontinue it altogether. But
Mm-hmm.
that's Webflow things.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
what else would you use today for automation? So would you still use Zapier or Make or NA10, or how would you like solve what Webflow logic is supposed to solve?
I mean, Zapier is like the most used tool, I guess, especially
Yeah.
that sometimes the client has Zapier to do something else in their workflow. So we just like go ahead and add Webflow Zaps. I
Mm-hmm.
also used WhaleSync for a while. WhaleSync was great to synchronize with like Airtable or an Ocean or something. And it was a good way to synchronize specifically the CMS. So when it comes to the CMS, I use that.
Mm-hmm.
Make.com is great. I've never used N8N with Webflow yet. Uh, could be a nice use case coming up. But Make.com has nice AI, say, nodes. So you can automate from Webflow to some sort of like an AI prompts or agentic AI automation, and then get a nice result. I've done that briefly once with on a shared project, but it was very cool. And I think with N8N you can make more. Uh, yeah, these tools have been great. Again, the logic the logic Webflow had did not cover that much intensity. It was mainly send an email after the form is submitted, which is again something that is most very common And it should be easy. It shouldn't be another external tool for me just to send an email after, or like automate an email after the form is submitted. So it was very convenient having that in Webflow. And then you taking it out, and now we have to like use it. Definitely, we have to use one of those tools to get that
Yeah.
simple use case done.
Yeah. Unfortunately.
Yeah.
So
What
what
else? We
else?
have e-commerce as well. E-commerce was one of the
Yeah.
features. Well, e-commerce is still there, is still operating, but there never any improvements on it. Like you just released it and that's it. And there's a lot on the wish list. Like if you go on the wish list, you can see a lot of e-commerce related features, but there has been no updates.
Yeah. Nothing at all. Yeah. I don't know. I've never really used it or set it up or anything. Never really had a project.
Yeah,
I just always opted to, okay, well, if it's e-commerce, guess I just connect the website to a Shopify store, just set up a simple Shopify store and just connect the buy now button or something to the
yeah,
product page, and then they can just handle it. That was like the easiest approach. And then things came out like Udacity. I don't know if you remember that or you've heard about it.
yeah,
So yes, so you could export your Webflow code and then run it through Udacity, and then it would basically add these attributes on it so that you can basically directly upload it as a Shopify theme. So talking about Shopify, like I wonder, like why isn't Webflow doing any partnerships with Shopify? So I'm like so curious, like
true.
there's so much potential there. Like why not power it? Because other agencies have already came up with solutions. Like there's a plugin called Shopiflow, um, and and basically you can create headless Shopify stores in Webflow, but like natively, like Webflow has the capability to make that deal. That deal would would break the, I don't know, the website market, or I don't even know how to say it.
True, e-commerce is huge. I mean, e-commerce having e-commerce in workflows. I mean, I've had a lot of requests from potential
Yeah,
clients that they wanted just e-commerce, and I couldn't do it with Webflow because they don't have the option to do it complexly. And yeah, to always is a deal breaker when you go like Webflow's e-commerce is limited. We have to use tools like Udacity, which also is not as efficient when you convert.
yeah,
Sometimes with like complex animations and like complex codes, the conversion is not 100%. Or use like Shopify. Also, there were a few. I think a couple more
yeah,
tools that kind of like connects your Shopify store to the Webflow website. But this is again another tool that you have to pay for on top of what you have to pay for Shopify and what you have to pay for Webflow. Also a deal breaker for some clients. So Shopify Webflow partnership would be great indeed. And I was just checking in the Webflow apps. I thought there might have been a Shopify app, but there is none. And this is concerning. I'm concerned now.
yeah. I mean, I don't know, like how would they even do it? But I wonder, like if they're able to do all this complex AI stuff with MCPs, like all these
Yeah.
complex backend things, like why is it so difficult then to like integrate the Shopify API and maybe just say like, hey, like this connects directly to a Shopify store, and if you want you can manage it from the Shopify's backend, or if you want you can manage it directly from Webflow. Like there's an API for everything. It's so easy. um, it should be, it would be effortless for Webflow, and yeah, we're just asking for it. So please, Webflow.
Yeah, Webflow, if you're hearing this and you want to set up, Daniel is here giving you the great idea. We should integrate Shopify for improving the e-commerce. I mean, the e-commerce is super in demand. Uh, it's something that a lot of businesses, especially online, they need some sort of a payment system, some sort of product variations or things like that, and an easy way to handle it. So here's where Webflow can excel in this part. And it's, again, like you said, it can be a small integration that changes the whole website building market, because it's so powerful. Like e-commerce will bring a lot of users towards Webflow.
Yeah, let's hope
Interesting.
it happens. Yeah.
Yeah.
So,
What else from the old releases? Um, what else do you have from the old releases?
well, uh, there are a couple. Like we could
Let's talk
definitely.
about the ones that succeeded. Like some releases got succeeded, like variables,
Oh
components,
yeah, 100%.
Webflow apps as well. Webflow apps, Webflow Marketplace, I think was a great thing they did, and it's picking up.
Yeah,
I'm really liking
change
it.
the game.
Yeah, and it's
Yeah,
super cool. Like you
yeah,
can make apps as well. Like they opened it for everyone. I made 2 apps so far, and it's very nice that they give us this flexibility, and you can make also apps that are inside, like internal. You don't have to put them on the marketplace, so you can use them with your clients. You can use them internally in your company. So it's pretty cool. Webflow apps was pretty cool. Um, have you used some
yeah,
apps? Have you playing around with these apps?
yeah. So actually, the app that I used the most was the HubSpot app. It
Yeah,
has a couple of flaws, but what it really gives you, let's say, if you have a HubSpot form that stays the same pretty much, let's say your contact form always stays the same, then it's great. But the problem with it is that you you cannot really pre-style it. So let's say someone who doesn't know how to build in Webflow wants to update it, remove a field or something, they have to get into Webflow. They cannot just directly repopulate it from HubSpot. So that's why I say let's just keep using embedded forms. But it's great. Like other than that, it's a great app. Sometimes it's buggy, but yeah, it's all right. What else?
yeah,
What my favorite app that I use all the time, and I don't know who made this, but whoever made this, you're a genius, and yeah, my eternal, thanks for you, is the SVG importer. So that's the best app
yeah,
so far. So now you can natively import SVG graphics. You just copy them from Figma, paste it in, and you have this way you don't have to host as many assets, which is great for your bandwidth, your load speed, and it just looks better. It scales better, right? And it's more flexible. You can reuse these SVGs much more often. So yeah, any apps that you like in particular?
yeah. I mean, the SVG import, I've used it intensively. I used it most of the time. It's really good because it brings in this custom elements, which is very good. And the HubSpot app as well. There's a Google Analytics app that was there. I've also used it. But yeah, Webflow apps has definitely been interesting.
Yeah,
So Webflow apps, variables, components. These were new releases or releases that actually, picked up. They got evolved. They're evolving now, especially with AI. You see AI components, these code components, variables as well. I've used variables, and I'm using variables now all the time. And it's great because you can set up or synchronize variables with a Figma file. So if your designer sets up their own variables on Figma, you can synchronize those with Webflow, making the process much easier. They're trying to do the same for components. Still, I don't know. Haven't used that one yet, but the variables one, it works really well.
yeah. The variables are great, and there are even apps that are just come right out of the box with frameworks. Let's say Lumos requires you to install that, but yeah, that's just some nerdy stuff.
Yeah,
But yeah,
yeah. Loomis is heavy on variables, and I like how they use variables till the max. You can see everything is set up in the variable panel, which is really really impressive. And yeah, the app, I remember the app, the Fluid app, so that you can read those variables in the app, which is really great. I think this was a nice combination of these features: components, variables,
Yeah,
and apps, and the Loomis framework.
yeah. So yeah, all in all, Webflow apps really changed the game. Like it's really something that enabled us, enabled our clients, enabled us from the developer end. So yeah, really, that's a huge thing. So I'm glad they fulfilled it. And I thought that's a feature that's never gonna happen. Like when they were talking about it like a few years back, like before that, maybe in 2021 or something, I've heard about that, and I was like, no way they're gonna do this. No way. Like the Webflow's never gonna do this. We're not gonna become like WordPress with their floods of plugins and stuff like that. But it happened, and it's great, and it works. And yeah. So yeah,
Yeah, yeah.
good job, Webflow.
They pulled it off. They pulled off this one. That's great.
Yeah.
All right. Thank you, Daniel. Thank you for joining us today. Looking forward to the
Thank
next
you.
one. We'll be talking more workflow stuff. So see you later.
Yeah. Talk to you soon.
Bye bye.
Bye.